Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And yes, I look different now. I shaved my head, but I kept my beard because it's a thing now. Keep this for as long as I can. All right. I Party with Victorious is a spin-off crossover, 1 hour crossover event between iCarly and Victorious. In case you didn't know. Now I already explained iCarly previous video. But we are talking, this one I will explain, Victorious. Victorious is another one of those Schneiderverse shows that exist in the same universe, like this and Zoe 101. Like iCarly, Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, they all exist in the same universe. Except for when actors cross over. I'll get to that in a minute. Actors cross over sometimes playing different characters, which I'll get to in a minute. But for the purposes of this, Victorious is a show about Tori Vega. In the pilot episode, her sister goes to a prestigious theater arts school in Hollywood called Hollywood Arts. Don't you know it? But she goes to a regular high school. She knows Andre, who goes to that school, to Hollywood Arts. I think she has a friend in the pilot disappears after she goes to Hollywood Arts. I don't know. But, her sister, Trina, who can't sing a lick, at least in the context of the show, somehow got in. Which there's a whole episode dedicated to how she got in. I don't really remember how. Someone like Psycho Wits, the teacher, drank some kind of coconut or something, milk, whatever, and his ears got plugged, and so he thought she was good and let her in. But I don't know. Her tongue gets swollen, and Tori takes over, and because she's so good, she sings the title song, "Make It Shine When I Make It Shine," and so she gets in to Hollywood Arts, and that's the basis of the show. Is that in Hollywood Arts stuff happens. There's stuff that's related to their acting exercises, such as the episode, one of my favorites, where they go to, it's called Psychowitz's house or something like that, where they go sleep over at Psychowitz. There it is. You go to Psychowitz. He's the weird teacher, voiced by Eric Lang, who is not the same voice as Plankton, but he was on Lost, so that's a plus for me. Thumbs up. But in that episode, they sleep over, but they sleep over at the teacher's house, which is not weird because all the actors were played by people in their 20s. All the characters were played by actors in their 20s, but still not weird because the trusted teacher, and he slept in his own place, and they slept up in the living room. And there's only 2 people left, but again, anyway. And I'm pretty sure they got permission from their parents to do this. So, he's a trusted teacher, and no, he's weird. But anyway, they all have to do some sort of act, some sort of thing. Like Tori's is that she's a police officer obsessed with Raisin Bran. Bex is that he's a touchy-feely British guy, and there's Tori picks for Jade. I'll explain the characters in a minute. That she's a nicey nice person. And then there's other characters. Andre is pregnant. Robbie is a what is Robbie? Oh, a motivational speaker, and Kat is a 90s comedian. But the characters. So we have the characters in the show. We have Tori Vega, played by Victoria Justice. Beck Oliver, who is played by Ivan Joggia. Going through people I've talked before on this show. And then we have Daniela Monet, who plays Tori's older sister Trina. Leon Thomas III plays Andre Harris, sort of like the best friend to Tori, which is, normally they have a female best friend, which could be Kat, played by Ariana Grande. This is where she got her start. But, we have Robbie, played by Matt Bennett, and he has a puppet named Rex, voiced by Gavin from Drake and Josh. I don't remember the actor's name. And then there is Jade, Beck's girlfriend, and sometimes rival, sometimes friend of Tori, played by Elizabeth Gillies. From Dynasty, or that Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll show with Dennis Leary. But yeah, and yeah, Rex is a puppet, and sometimes they question it, sometimes they go along with it. Such in this episode where they question it. But they live in California, Hollywood, California, and iCarly, they live, of course, in Seattle, Washington. So this is the crossover where they come together. And that gave you the basic plot of Victorious, is what it is. So there's that. But there have been actors that crossed over before, and I think it's all before this, but Danielle Monet was a party goer at Nora Durslow's party in I, Psycho before this. Leon Thomas III was originally a different character in the I Save TV, I think it was called. He played a different character there. Harper was his name, I think. Then he sang a song there. And Victoria Justice herself was in another episode before Victorious existed called I Fight Shelby Marks, where she played Shelby Marks, which they bring up here, but not the other two actors. Although I think they spend less time with them than they do Tori, so I guess it understands. But the plot here is that Carly is dating a new boy that we have never seen before named Steven, played by an actor whose name I don't know. And he lives between Seattle and LA because his parents are divorced. And if you heard that, you're smart enough, you're like, oh, so he probably knows both girls. Well, turns out Tori's got herself a new boyfriend we've never seen before, and it's Steven. So he's dating both girls. What a coinky-dink. Both girls from both main characters from both shows who need to meet in this crossover. Who'd have thought? It's almost like someone planned this. But yeah, and there is a lot of shifting back and forth in the beginning part of this, the first half of this, where they go from, because they have to, they go from Seattle to LA, to Seattle, to Hollywood, to Seattle, to Hollywood, Seattle, to Hollywood, back and forth, because they got to cover both grounds. So it's weird. And I guess this is, both parts qualify as an iCarly episode and not a Victorious episode. Well, I'm aware. Although they were on both DVD sets that they had. Second season set of Victorious and the third season set of iCarly. Even though technically this was season 4. Because I think I mentioned before that DVD sets were messed up. And then on Paramount Plus, they're also messed up. Because for some reason season 2 has 38 episodes. And then season 3 is short. So there's 6 on there and it was supposed to be 7. I don't know, those are 5 seasons. I don't know. But anyway, this is my... Anyway. So I just took a shower, so it feels weird. My beard feels weird. But, so yeah, Steven's dating both girls. And the whole reason to get them together, not just because of that thing, is that Kenan Thompson, the famous Kenan Thompson, the butt doctor, is having a party at his house, at his new house. He's letting Andre throw a new party. So, yeah. So there's that setup for the party. The party and iParty with Victorious. And because Rex tweets out to everybody. It's supposed to be a small party. And so he thinks, oh, just him and his friends. Andre thinks, this is me and my friends. But then when Sinjin, one of the Victoria side characters, Sinjin, he's sort of like their Gibby, I would say. And they don't even really have a scene really him and Sinjin, but he's sort of like their Gibby. Could you argue that Psychowitz is sort of their Lubert? He's a weird character. I don't know. But so Rex tweets out to everyone on the Slap, there's a party at Kenan Thompson's house, which Andre's not happy about. But because of this, they start searching for Steven. Why do they start searching for him? Because they think there's a Stephen Carson somewhere else, so they search it. And it pops up a picture of the Slap. The picture of him and Tori that Robbie took earlier. And immediately Steven's like, oh, what, did you take my picture? Did you take my picture? Yeah, why? because he doesn't want Carly to find out, but it's already on the slab. It's already up there. They find it, and so automatically Sam and Freddy think that Steven is cheating on her. But she's not so sure. But, and then Freddy points out, Sam points out, she looks like that Shelby Marks chick he fought. And Shelby Marks chick, like, she was like a celebrity. And now she's just that Shelby Marks chick, like she's just someone they met and fought. And not somebody that, they had a whole thing with, but they bring that up, and I should mention that Jeanette McCurdy would be on Victorious after this, I think, as Crazy Pawnee. I think it was after this. Yeah, it was in season 3, so, and I don't know. And she would cross over with Cat in Sam and Cat, so, yeah. So they find out about the party, and meanwhile, Spencer has been trying to put this sculpture together, but he used ball joint lube instead of super glue, and he's been stuck in this thing all day, so he has back problems. So he asks any of them to give him a back massage, like, no. So he calls Gibby to do it, and so Gibby's basically giving him a back massage, and so they're like, I know what we'll do. We'll have Spencer drive us to California. Right. And he's like, okay, but I gotta take Gibby. His hands are like, he has hands of a goddess. Okay, so this party is Saturday night, right? And you think this is Friday after they got done early. There's a whole joke with Spencer at his book club, which kind of just, But, you know how long it takes to get from Seattle, Washington, all the way over here? Okay, look at my view. All the way over here in Seattle, Washington, right? And then California is down here. So you're going, right? So you're going, and that's a little ways down. But as they're getting ready to go, they're like, oh, wait, we're famous from iCarly. What if some people recognize this? It'll ruin the whole thing. He's like, oh, I have an ex-girlfriend that lives down there. Moni. I think her name's Moni. She's a makeup artist. She can fix you guys up. Okay, so they get there pretty fucking fast. And so he's like, Moni, can you make them so they look different? She's like, when's the party? And they're like, tonight. So they got there overnight. It was an overnight drive from Seattle to California, to Hollywood. Overnight. I don't think so. But TV logic. Take them a few days to get to California from there. But overnight, sure. Assuming that was Friday, you gotta assume, because unless the school is just closed because of the gas leak, then they come home where they're from, so it's just closed for a few days. And so maybe this is a Wednesday. And then Friday. And then it jumped. I don't know. I didn't say the days. But anyway, so she does the makeup job on her. We find out that Spencer ran her over with a car. Broke her leg. That's why she's mad at him. And apparently it's not the only ex-girlfriend he's ran over. I'm not the best driver. And so they put prosthetic makeup on them. And look, Freddy, or Chess Masterson as he calls himself, he looks like some hunky dude, like a caricature of Johnny Bravo with the hair and everything. And then Sam, or as she calls herself, Regina Goodbody, she looks like a plain Jane, hair tied up. But when Carly, or Patty Schwab as she calls herself, comes out, she looks like Miranda Cosgrove with bad plastic surgery. The other two look different. if you walked into a room, you would recognize that those are the two actors. But her, she looks like Miranda Cosgrove with bad plastic surgery. That's what she looks like. And I'm sorry. Like, they could have done something with her hairstyle. I don't know. And she later does a British accent, but the way she looks, you think Asian. Maybe they didn't want to go on that stereotype. I don't know. So they're ready to go, and Gabe's like, hey, I'm going to call you a lot about me. I'd argue to say he's probably the most recognizable of all of those. Probably. And, like, okay. So she gives him a hat, sunglasses, and a mole, and his name is Roger. And it's like, did they just not have a budget to do makeup on him? Is that what it was? Because, like, when you say, oh, they can cover your faces up, you think he would be included. And also, something else that has always bugged me is, what about Spencer? Spencer has been on iCarly before. He's very recognizable, yet no one says anything to him about it. And no one points out that he was on iCarly. I mean, he was like Baby Spencer, and he's co-hosted iCarly when Sam was in the juvie. So, yeah, that was before this, right? I think. But yeah, he's been on there before. He's been on the iCarly before. So why Gibby and the rest of them get different looks, but he's fine to go as he is? I don't know. So we get to the party, and I have another problem here. So we get to the party, and they're all hanging out by the punch bowl and everything. The victorious people are. And then, I forgot to mention, there is a subplot with Kat. She gets nodules on her vocal cord, so she can't talk. So for the entire episode, hang on, they just type into this text-to-speech thing that requires a headband thing for it to go, for people to hear it. Like, I think there's a setting on your phone, at least there is now, I think, where you can set text-to-speech, where you text something and it speaks, I think. Maybe not. Maybe there's not. But, yeah, so there's a Google thing, right? The Google Translate. You just type it in and you push a thing and it pops up. Well, I guess maybe this is louder because there's like a party stuff. I don't know. But that's her whole thing. This is given to her by Lane, who I have to talk about because Lane is played by a guy who has been in the Schneiderverse before. He was Andy, Helen's brother, in the end credit thing of Really Big Shrimp that I don't think was on Paramount Plus. If it was, maybe I shut it off before. But yeah, he's like talking to Drake. Oh, I'm Eddie, and Helen's told me all about you. It's nice to meet you. And he's like, and I'm Josh. But they have mine here as Lane, a different character, who also ropes Trina into babysitting his friend's kids, which is a thing that wasn't really necessary. It happened, but we need to have comedy with her, I guess. She tries to talk to Tori to have them cancel, to move the party, but she's like, no. Keenan told Andre only have it on Saturday night. So, yeah. So they get there. They're hanging out at the front punch bowl. They get there before the party starts, and they meet the DJ. And there's just a line. So, like, introduced to the DJ guy, and Rex is like, downtown, all around, something like that. And then when they're like, oh, he's DJing, or Andre's like, he's DJing tonight. He's like, sticker, straight up. And then Tori does it. Sticker, straight up. I find that so cringy that I mute it every time. It's like, no. Like, even they're like, I wanted to do it. You know, but it's just like, no, like, I mute it every time because it's just so cringy. But anyway, the party gets started. It's a big house. There's multiple rooms that we see throughout this party. It's just like, damn, Kenan, you be swimming in the SNL money, man. One of you the longest tenured. But anyway, so, yeah, they're hanging out at the punch bowl, and they're right there. We see the door from where they're standing at the punch bowl. They're hanging out there talking, and then a guy in a panda suit hits Andre in the butt, and he runs after him. And that's the whole thing with Andre. There's this guy in a panda suit that he's trying to track down. We never find out who it is, but supposedly, what my brother told me years ago, it was supposed to be Tebow. But that doesn't make much sense as to how he did. Tebow is the manager of the Groovy Smoothie on iCarly. But it doesn't make sense as to how he would be there. It just doesn't make any sense. And I can't think of any victorious characters it could be, so it's just like an unknown character. Anyone? Conspiracy theorists could say it was Lane, because like the panda disappears. When Lane shows up later, Panda's no longer there, I think? Or is he? I don't know. But yeah, they're hanging on right there, and then it cuts to the iCarlys walking in. And they're like, okay, we gotta find them. I'm like, look to your left. They're right there! But they don't see him. And the next scene, they're in a different part of the place. It's like, wait, they moved? Okay, I guess they can move, but it's like, okay, they split up. Also, I should mention there's another subplot. There's so many subplots. With Psychowitz trying to teach Tori and Beck about acting out fear. Acting afraid. Beck has never been scared in his life, apparently, which never has a conclusion in this episode, like, at all. Like, doesn't come around. There's no class at the end. Like, sometimes in these episodes, they go back for the class. Like, there's an episode where Tori and Jade have to play as husband and wife. Internet fetishists, do with that what you will. And they don't like each other, so there's no connection. But then they hang out and they bond, and so that strengthens their connection. It comes back to it at the end of the episode. This fear thing never goes anywhere past a few jump scares here and there. This Psychowitz does. She shows up at this punch bowl to scare them, and it scares Tori so much she pees herself. And then, yeah, we're not back. And of course, Jade wants to go check out the jacuzzi, which Psychowitz is all about. I guess. They said the iCarlys get there and they split up. And they said, okay, we're going to converge on Point Steven. When we find them, we text each other, or call each other in Carly's case, what happens. And then Carly runs into Tori, but, no, that's later, actually. She runs into Steven. And Steven doesn't recognize her, even though she just looks like Miranda Cosgrove with bad plastic surgery. I don't understand how we can't recognize it. I'm sorry. Like, in the context of the show, maybe she doesn't look like, maybe she does. I don't know. But to me, I don't know. And Sam is eating salsa and taquitos. And he finds Tori, because that's what Steven's looking for, and this confirms that he was cheating. And she's on the phone with Freddie, or Chess Masterson, who is supposed to be looking with Sam, but Sam is eating taquitos and chips and salsa and stuff like that instead of looking. Of course, it's Sam. She eats food. Meanwhile, Spencer and Gibby find a jacuzzi, and Gibby's like, you should totally get up in that. It's good for your back. So Spencer does. And then Gibby realizes his mole is missing, so he has to go back and find it. And some jerk-ass kid sees him and is like, wait, you're that kid from MyColor.com. No, I'm Roger. You're Gibby from MyColor.com. Dude, shh, don't, you're gonna blow my cover. Hey, guys, I'm Gibby from MyColor.com. Knocks him out. Good. Kid was a jerk. He's trying to tell him not to say anything, and he's going to do it anyway. Knock his ass out. Throw him out the window. Tie him up. Put him somewhere where they can't find him. I don't know. Just a jerk. I hate that. Trying to say, hey, don't do it, and he does it anyway, and it's knock him the fuck out, man. Also, at one point, Gibby and Kat meet, although he says he's Roger. This was before the mole went away. And I'm thinking that's where it fell. When she went like this, and it fell off. Although we don't see it fall off, but it could have fell off when he moved. I don't know. But to me, that's what stand out. She goes like, he does, I like her more. So it could have fallen off then. Fallen off. English. Meanwhile, Spencer is in the hot tub when Psychowitz scares the shit out of him. And so when he goes to say his name, he says, He's like, well, nice to meet you, Spoo. And then he's like, I'm trying to scare one of my students. Beck. Oh, they're coming. And he, don't tell anyone I'm here. Okay. And so he hides in the hot tub. And then Jade and Beck get in the hot tub, and he jumps up and he scares Jade and Spencer again. Poor Spencer gonna have a heart attack, but not Beck. And then that's the last of the scaring thing that we have of the scaring thing. They never come back to it again. He doesn't finally get scared. That's just it. Shinji gets knocked out the window by the surfboard thing because he tells him to turn it up to the highest level. I don't know. It's some game they're playing. I don't know. He gets knocked out the window, but later I wonder if he landed in a hot tub because he comes out with Psycho. I think he does land in a hot tub, if I remember correctly. Kenan Thompson's going to be on the window. Speaking of which, Kenan Thompson show up. Andre's telling everybody to leave. And Kenan's like, come on, man, I want to stay. By the way, he's carrying a giraffe. He's like, here, that's for you. He's like, man, I said a small party, but this is too small. You got to go bigger than this. Like 400, 500 people, man, that's small. And then the panda shows up. You invite the panda? So this is where I think it's not related to any of the characters because he says the panda has been following him around. He could be someone from Hollywood Arts, but I think it's just someone who was stalking Kenan. Which leads me to think it's Kel. You know, I would love a scene where they catch the panda and it's revealed it's Kel. Kel! Ah, here it goes. Just, you know, that would be funny. You know. I don't know. It's the only one I can think of that would follow Kenan around is messing with him. But, yeah, so they go after them. But then Tori and Carly finally meet. And that's where Carly's like, you love my boyfriend. What? It's okay, you're in love with my boyfriend. I'm in love with your boyfriend too. What, my Steven? Your Steven, my Steven. He's been a naughty boy. And so basically that's how they they tell her that he's been cheating, and so they can conjure up this plan when Andre and Kenan Thompson run by, and they're like, have you seen the panda? And they're like, you're Kenan Thompson. And you're the iCarlys from the internet. So you want to help us take care of our ex-boyfriend? Wait. And it was like, Steven? Yeah, it's a long story. So he's supposed to meet Tori for their 100-day kiss, and at this closet. Why couldn't you just do it in front of everyone? I don't know. I mean, 100 years kiss, not this thing, but like in a closet. And when he gets there, they're doing an iCarly show, and he's been tricked. And Kenan has a trumpet, which he blows in Steven's face. And he's been exposed as being a cheater, so his love life is now ruined. By now, they've taken off their makeups, too, because, yeah. And so, there's another subplot where Robbie was trying to, he was trying to request some music and knocks over water and messes up this whole DJ station. So he starts rapping and he's terrible, and someone throws a plant at him, okay, so they're throwing on Kenan Thompson's lamp. They broke a plant while throwing it at Robbie, and one of his windows was broken when St. John went out of it. And the surf thing, which is probably his game too, is broken. So that's 4 things that are probably broken right now in this house. So Kenan might not even be so happy, but you know. So Rex starts doing freestyle raps and then ends up doing rap battles with everyone. And then once the whole thing with Steven is done, they come in and Sam and Rex are rapping against each other, battle rap. But here's the thing. Earlier in the episode, they're questioning why Rex has a picture of a puppet, an urban puppet, they say, on his slap profile. But they're not questioning how a puppet's just, they assume maybe it's Robbie, but I don't know. It is different, a different voice. It's a different Jake something or other does the voice. It's Gavin from Drake and Josh. But, yeah, then they have rap battle. And then they get the music thing working again. So the iCarlys and the Victorious people sing a mashup of Leave It All to Me and Make It Shine called Leave It All to Shine. And I still have a bit of a nitpick with this. So Make It Shine is a song that's been sung within the universe. Because it's the theme song of the show, but it's been sung in universe on the show by Tori in the in the pilot episode. But never once have they sang Leave It All to Me on iCarly. And the first time I heard this, I was like, wait, I get Make It Shine, but they've never sang this on iCarly before. I get it, it's a mashup of both themes, we gotta do it. You could have just done it as the opening, which they kind of sang on an instrumental version, but I have the actual version, like the album version, on my Spotify and stuff. In that version, it's everyone says, all the cast go, showing you just how I feel, which is from iCarly, you know. But in this version, Kenan Thompson pops out the front door and goes, I'm showing you just how I feel. And it was like, I wish Kenan Thompson was in the album version, but it's not. And that's basically how it ends. They just sing. So there's no conclusion to the Beck Scaring storyline. And yeah, that's it. But yeah, I would say this is still pretty good. It's not a rating. It's just pretty good. Because this is a special, not a movie. But this was in 2011. Yeah, I'm not ready to call that retro. And something that got me, I remember the first time I watched this, when Robbie goes, do you have any retro music? Do you have anything retro when it comes to music? And I'm like, well, like, oh, he's thinking 60s or 70s. He's like, whatever happened to the Spice Girls? I'm like, eh. And in 2011, I'm thinking, you consider that retro? Oh, no. Because that was my childhood. Spice Girls was big when I was a kid. And my cousin had a Spice Girls tape. And she listened to, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want, like, on repeat. She'd play it and rewind it and play it and rewind it. That tape probably stopped working after a while. Then I think she had a CD, or I guess hit CD later, that she played it. I was a Backstreet Boys guy. So we were both into those kind of pop bands back in the day. But yeah, do you remember when? Then 2011, it hit me going, eh. Now, yeah. Especially since I have retro rewind and I'm reviewing stuff from the 90s and early 2000s. I'm just getting around to calling the early 2000s retro now. But I'm cutting it up before 2005. So anything after 2005 is not retro for me. Not yet. I'm not ready to. No, because I graduated in 2006. So if I say something in 2006 is retro. But yeah. Anyway, this was good. So up next, we're not done with Victoria Justice yet because she's in a Nickelodeon film, which I probably should wait till October to review, but I'll do it now. It's called Fun Size. And it also has Jane Levy. And that dude who played the young cop guy. The cop, Frank Hawkins, in David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. The one who played him in the flashback in Halloween Kills. He's in that. So, and Chelsea Handler, which is why I get her confused with the mom from Spectacular, because they look similar. I always think that's Chelsea Handler, but she's in this. So we'll be talking about it next time. Till then, what are your thoughts on the Victorious? What are your thoughts on iParty with Victorious? In the comments below, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.